Good evening and welcome. Amid this week's blizzard of personnel announcements for key roles in the next administration, one name is at the center of growing debate on both sides of the political divide. Matt Gaetz, who Donald Trump wants as his attorney general, would, if confirmed by the Senate, become the nation's top cop. But there is the matter of a now closed House ethics investigation of Gaetz concerning allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which he denies, but that has some lawmakers arguing for the release of the investigative report. While also tonight, the eyebrow-raising pick of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to become Health and Human Services Secretary is undergoing its own scrutiny over some of his stated positions in the past. Ryan Nobles starts us off with the latest.
Overnight, President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago, basking in the glow of his decisive election win.
We swept all swing states. We won the popular vote. Oh, I love that.
And revealing new cabinet picks, including North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum as his Interior Secretary.
He's going to be fantastic.
But there's growing scrutiny tonight over his selection of now former Congressman Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, with more lawmakers demanding the release of a House ethics investigation of Gaetz into allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which Gaetz denies. The investigation ended after Gaetz resigned following his selection.
It is very important to maintain the House's tradition of not issuing ethics reports on people who are no longer members of Congress. I think it would open a Pandora's box.
But key Senate Republicans want it. And a House Democrat on the panel telling me senators in charge of confirming Gaetz should see the evidence.
I think it's essential for them to get that kind of information before they make a decision of this magnitude.
Late tonight, the attorney for a woman who testified before the House Ethics Committee telling NBC News his client told the panel she witnessed Gaetz having sex with a minor at a house party in 2017. A spokesperson for Gaetz responding to the claim saying Merrick Garland's DOJ cleared Matt Gaetz and didn't charge him. Are you alleging Garland is part of a cover-up? And there's also new fallout tonight over Trump's pick of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary.
If you like health and if you like people that live a long time, it's the most important position. RFK Jr. Bobby?
Kennedy says the food and pharmaceutical industries have too much power over the FDA. But it sparked backlash for promoting debunked theories linking vaccines to autism. He recently spoke to NBC's Vaughn Hilliard.
I'm not going to take away anybody's vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine.
Tonight, some Republican senators seem open to voting yes.
Putting him at the Department of Health and Human Services and to enact this Make America Healthy Again agenda, I think makes a lot of sense.
But the growing list of provocative picks, leaving the possibility of a nominee falling short in a confirmation vote. And Republicans are warning the Gaetz pick could already be in trouble. But the new Senate Republican leader said he is open to approving nominees during a recess without a Senate vote.
We also are not going to allow the Democrats to obstruct or block President Trump and the will of the American people.
A move Democrats strongly oppose.
How concerned are you about the possibility of recess appointments, particularly for someone like Matt Gaetz?
I'm very concerned about it. It seems an end run around the confirmation process.
And Ryan, there's also a new headline about Trump's defense secretary pick, Pete Hegseth.
That's right. Police in Monterey, California say that Hegseth was investigated in 2017 for an alleged sexual assault after an event for Republican women. He was not arrested. Hegseth's attorney tells NBC News that he was cleared of any wrongdoing. The Trump campaign added that Hegseth has vigorously denied any and all accusations. Lester?
All right, Ryan Nobles, thanks. It's not just Matt Gaetz. President-elect Trump also making other picks for the Justice Department, including his current defense lawyers. Laura Jarrett is here. Laura, you have some new reporting on moves being made.
Yes, Lester. Despite all these warnings from Republicans that Gaetz might not have the votes to get confirmed, President-elect Trump's pick for the #2 spot at the Justice Department, his lead defense attorney, Todd Blanche, is moving full steam ahead, working with Gaetz to staff up more than a dozen roles within the Justice Department, according to sources familiar with the planning. Now, if confirmed, Blanche would have oversight over all federal prosecutors and could be acting attorney general if Gaetz fell through. Blanche is set to be joined at DOJ by another veteran prosecutor, Emil Bovee, who, along with Blanche, earned Mr. Trump's trust, successfully getting those federal charges wiped away very soon, and possibly now on the verge of getting his pending sentencing here in New York in that hush money case also off the table, Lester.
Okay, Laura, thank you. Now to the security threats to President-elect Trump and our new reporting that Iran has told the U.S. it will not try to assassinate him. Andrea Mitchell joins us. Andrea, this came in a letter from Iran.
That's right, Lester. In the message sent last month to the U.S. via Swiss diplomats, Iran said it would not try to kill President-elect Trump, a U.S. official tells NBC News. That follows the Biden administration's warning to Iran it would consider any threat against Trump an act of war. Just last week, the Justice Department charged Iranian agents with plotting to kill Trump before the election, even releasing photos of their weapons. Iran has vowed to retaliate against Trump and his national security officials for the assassination of Iran's General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. Top former Trump officials who helped approve the Soleimani killing still get around-the-clock security. Lester?
Andrea Mitchell, thanks. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.